It appears to me that Australia is competing against Australia to give us the best scholarship. And each one is really exciting. In my last two videos, I talked about scholarships from Australia, and I told you how beautiful these scholarships are. They are wonderful scholarship, both for masters and for doctoral studies. And now we have another exciting scholarship, and I can tell you for a fact, I think this is the best scholarship in 2025. Well, let's say in Australia. But compared to other universities or other countries, I still think this is by far the best scholarship. Let's talk about some of the benefits of the scholarship just to make you aware of what I mean. So first you get your full tuition. So the full tuition is covered. So you're not paying any tuition. You also get living allowance. So there's a living allowance here and you paid every 2 weeks. So every fortnightly you get your payment. You also get a travel allowance. So you receive travel allowance. If you have a child, your child also gets allowance. So there's a dependent child allowance. And if you're an expecting mother, you also get paid maternity leave or paid paternity leave. And if that's not enough, I found another scholarship from the same university that covers additional stipend. Looking for scholarship is time consuming. You know it is challenging, it is rigorous, and it is sometimes frustrating, and that's why many people give up on the process. But I've done that hard work for you. And in this video, I'm going to give you the best step-by-step guide. And I mean it, the best step-by-step guide to apply to the best scholarship in 2025. So all the hard work has been done. All you just need to do is watch this video and apply. But I don't want you to simply watch the video. That's another thing. I don't want to give you scholarship opportunities or show you and then you watch it, consume all of them, but not take any action. That is not what I want. That is not the intention. I don't want you to simply consume my content. I want you to get value from what I offer, and I want you to take this application process and just go for it. Hello, everybody. My name is Brendo. I am a doctoral student here at the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow, Scotland, United Kingdom, and I received full funding for my program. And that helped me to see that you don't have to be the best. You just have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate. You have to submit a strong application. Be determined. And if you go through the blueprint that I give in all my videos, you can secure the scholarship. There are many testimonies coming in already, and I'm so happy and so grateful. So you can secure the scholarship. You don't have to be the best. Take it from me. You just have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate. For my returning subscribers, those who usually like the videos, who share the videos to their friends, those who subscribe and those who comment, thank you so much for encouraging me. Thank you for motivating me. I really want to say a big thank you. And to those just joining the family, welcome. It is a growing family. It is a growing family. So let's now jump right into the video. I've seen comments from my videos, the previous videos, to show that people are already applying. They've been getting comments from supervisors, and some persons have also gotten the scholarship. And in fact, in the next couple of weeks, I will start interviewing participants or successful applicants who have gotten this scholarship, and they're going to tell us about the process and everything. So, I really want you to apply to this scholarship because I believe you can do it. Yes, I believe you. Yes, you watching it. You can mention your name, but I believe you can secure the scholarship, and I want you to secure the scholarship. So to do that, I've designed three things, or I'm going to give you three things to really help you in your application process because I want you to take actions. I don't want you to simply watch this video and just push it aside. The first thing I'm going to give you is a checklist, a weekly checklist that you can follow for this particular application. Like I tell you, we do not have enough time. August 31 being the deadline is deceptive. We do not have that much time because if you're looking for the scholarship, you should apply much earlier. So please submit the application on time. So I'm going to give you a free checklist and I'll tell you how to get the checklist. Just comment checklist in the comment section and I will send you the checklist. Or you could just check on the description. You'll find a direct link to that. The second thing I'm going to give you is a proposal guide. So I'm going to give you a guide to submit a proposal. What should your proposal look like? I will give you a free sample in the comment section. So just indicate in the comment section and I will send you a sample. But more than that, I've seen that some people find it very challenging to apply to this scholarship because they have peculiar cases or because they still find the process very complex, complicating. Now, if you're facing this exact challenge and you want to see how we can work together to improve your situation, to help you succeed in your application process, I've opened up a few slots in my calendar this week, next week, and I think just a couple weeks. If you think we can work together to succeed to help you get a scholarship, then you can book a free session with me. I will send a link in my description and you can apply it and let's see how it works out. So that's enough for the introduction, guys. I'm so excited to talk about the scholarship. And now let's get started. So we're looking at Australian National University. Australian National University, as you can see here from the homepage, I think it's large enough. And we are looking at the Australian Government Research Training Program. So we have this research training program for many universities. I'll just zoom in. So we're looking at the Australian Government Research Training Program Stipend Scholarship. Now, the scholarship is, it says each year the Commonwealth Department of Education and Training provide funding to universities to award scholarship to domestic and international students undertaking higher degree research programs. So I think this is something I need to mention from the outset that these are for higher degree research programs, but masters by research and doctoral studies. So if you're looking to apply for masters or PhD, then this is the video you have to watch. Okay, and the deadline for this is 31st of August this year. So 31st of August, and we want to begin the process. I think at this point already we are late. So if you're watching this, please start applying. Please start applying. I will send you the checklist like I mentioned earlier. Please start applying to this. Okay. And now let's talk about the value of this scholarship. It is an academic, that's a scholarship type, and the value is 38,154 per annum. So you're paid fortnightly every 2 weeks, and you receive your payment for 3.5 years. So ideally, you used to complete your program in 3 years, but of course, many times it extends till 3 years and a half, and you continue receiving your stipend for 3.5 years. Well, of course, for master's program, that should be 2 years. And the domestic and the student type, domestic, international, this is what we focus on. And it's postgraduate research, like we mentioned, both masters by research or doctoral study. It is based on academic merit. We'll talk about this later. So it's based on academic merit, and for ongoing eligibility, it's continuation based on academic performance. So as long as you continue to do well, and after your review each year, it turns out that you continue to meet the requirement, yes, you will continue to get that. And you, of course, have the extension duration of 6 months. Okay. Well, to be eligible for this, we're going to look at some of these, but there are basic eligibility requirements for the scholarship. We'll look at it eventually. So, what is the selection process? Well, it is awarded on a competitive ranking process. Now, that does not mean you do not meet it up. Okay, we're going to look at this competition and see how you can excel in these areas. Okay, and it's given to top ranked candidates subject to evidence they meet merit-based selection criteria. Okay, and subject to confirmation of a qualified supervisor, space and resource being available and in an area of research that is aligned with ANU research strategy. Now, let's talk about some of the benefits. Although we've mentioned this at the introduction, where you receive stipend scholarship for 3.5 years, and there is a possibility for an extension for the following reason. You can read this up on your own. And now here says travel and removal allowance for student relocating to the university to commence your program. You also receive a thesis allowance. There is a dependent child allowance for international students. There is a paid medical, maternity, and parental leave. That is awesome. Awesome. I think I said paternity leave, but I should think maternity and parental leave should also count there. Okay, but there's also a suspension of scholarship. You might want to read this to find out what. Okay, now how to apply, we're going to look at that. There is no separate application. Please take note. There is no separate application for this. So you don't have to submit a different application form. And I'll show you how to get to this page. I will leave a link to this page in the description so you know how to reference it. And now there are some documents you're expected to attach, and we're going to look at them. And then further information basically gives us some stuff. So once again, briefly, that's just the Australian Government Research Training Program. So how do we come to this page? Well, simply you go to the homepage. So on the homepage, which I will send, I'll drop a link. If you come there, then look for, this is the homepage of the university. Then look for postgraduate research student, which is the third. When you click on that, it brings you here, postgraduate research. Of course, when it brings you here, what you want to click on is not scholarship, but click on how to apply. So select how to apply, and then when you select how to apply, it brings you to this page, ANU Postgraduate Research. Now, what we're interested in, before you apply, there are 3 stages. Please take note. You need to find a potential supervisor and explore our college research opportunities. And we're going to look at each of these and how to apply to this. Okay, so you're going to find a supervisor. To find a supervisor, we're going to search for one. But this is what I would recommend. Okay, you need to get a supervisor before you start looking for research areas, or you can still look for research areas, research opportunities before looking for the supervisor. But going by what you have here on the university webpage, you have to find a supervisor first. That is important. But finding a supervisor and contacting a supervisor, I would leave a link to another video on how to contact a supervisor and how to write a research proposal. But look, you need to find a supervisor first. And then excuse me. And then the next thing is to explore the college research opportunities. So there are six colleges. So you look at each of them and find your program. But there's something important here, which is this note. More than one college can offer supervision in a particular subject area. So, which means if you have a subject area, say for example, you want to research artificial intelligence in a particular field or a sector like education, you could have that in art and humanities. You can have that in business and economics. You can also have that in science and medicine, which is part of my research. So artificial intelligence, the use of artificial intelligence in academic writing and higher education, that is my research area. So for example, if that is your research interest, you could search on these six colleges and then find if there is any there. So it's a good thing to do the research yourself. Come to this webpage. I will leave a link in the description. Come to the webpage yourself, go through each of them and look at what they offer. And the final thing you want to do is to explore college application requirements. So the six colleges, depending on what you've chosen or depending on what we've selected, then you can look at the application requirement. But generally, if you're applying to the university, there are some application requirements. Now, let's look at this requirement. Okay, it says you can apply at any time of the year, but if you wish to be considered for a scholarship, you need to send your application within the scholarship application deadline. And the deadline we're working with here is 31st of August. But trust me, we're already behind time. We're behind schedule, and you need to start yesterday. Okay. For scholarship applicants, it says your referees should send their report before your scholarship deadline, and you need to give them as much time as possible to complete the process. So this is also another important thing. So going forward now, for the minimum admission requirement, well, if you're going to go for the Doctor of Philosophy, what do you need? An Australian bachelor's degree with at least a second class honors, a bachelor's degree with at least a second class honors, and another degree, that is to say, with a significant research or thesis component. That can be your master's if you're going for a doctorate study, or a combination of qualifications, research, publication, and others. If you're going for a Master of Philosophy degree, that is Master by Research here, we need an Australian bachelor's degree or higher, or equivalent degree from another university or from another country. So something to keep in mind. For English language requirement, I have a tab open for that, so we'll come back to that. For research proposal, now there's an important thing you should pay attention to. It says your draft research proposal only needs to be short. Okay, checking with your potential supervisor to clarify the expectation for this proposal before you send it in with your application. And one useful tip here to mention, although I will make a separate video for this, is if you're going to contact a potential supervisor, it is ideal to attach your proposal and a CV. Yes, it is ideal to attach your proposal on a CV. So have your proposal ready before contacting a supervisor. And that is why I say we are behind schedule on this scholarship. Your proposal should present your idea or question your discipline area clearly. Consider it a statement about the basis of your research you'd like to do. And here is a guide on how to write a proposal, just a brief guide. There is another section for that. Okay. And now your referees, you need two referees, at least two referees reports are required to commence assessment of the program. Academic referees who are able to comment on your ability to undertake the program are preferred, but professional referees are also ideal. That is to say, you can get one or two academic referees, and then you can also get one professional referees from your workplace. Okay, and the university may request additional referee reports during the assessment of the application, just so you know, something to keep in mind. And there are supporting documentation. We're going to look at some of this documentation. So you can see it's a simple process. Find a supervisor, look at the college research opportunities that are available, and apply. Look at the requirements to get into the university. Okay, so look at the three stages again. Choose the program you want to study from the course, from the program and course catalog. On the program page, click apply to the application portal, and then you complete your application. But please do not do this without the endorsement of a supervisor, a potential supervisor. Do not do this. It's not right to do that. You may, according to the site, you might not be considered. Okay. Now, let's look at this is the research portal to look for a supervisor. But before we talk about looking for a supervisor, let's look at some of the other ones. So this is the scholarship I did mention. This is also another scholarship entirely, an ANU Higher Degree Research Fee Merit Scholarship. It covers a whole lot. Payment made for 4 years for PhD and 2 years for MPhil. But this is not the scholarship we're talking about, just to let you know that this university has many scholarships. But besides these two, we also have the supplementary scholarship. Now, the supplementary scholarship may be awarded to a student to top up their base stipend scholarship, and that should help to assist with living costs or research expenses. So you have additional, and it will be paid fortnightly for the entire duration of your program. For the entire duration of your program, you're receiving additional stipend if you get the scholarship or you apply for the scholarship. So this is amazing, amazing. And how to apply, guess what? No separate application is required. No separate application is required for this. So you could get both the Australian scholarship from the Australian government, and then you could also get the supplementary scholarship. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff, I would say. Yes, we've also mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you remember, that some people find the scholarship application process complicating and complex, while some people find it really challenging because they think their own case is peculiar. So if you think you're facing this exact challenge and you want to see how my approach can help improve your situation, then I've opened up a few slots in my calendar this week and in the next couple weeks. And you could just book a session, even a 15 minutes free session, to see how we can work together to improve your situation and to help you secure the scholarship that you really want to achieve. Remember, the link is in the description if you'd like to do that. I've also added a link in the description for the postgraduate application checklist. So it's just a scholarship checklist to tell you what you have to do from the beginning to the end of your scholarship application process. These free resources would help you to secure your scholarship. Now let's jump right back into the video. We are on the web page for the application for contacting your supervisor. So here we are on the page to contact a supervisor. Remember how we got here? We came all the way down, find a supervisor, click on search supervisor, it takes you to this tab. And here what you want to type is keywords from your research area or from your research interest. Like I told you, my current research is on the use of artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence in academic writing in higher education. So I could just simply type artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, if you want to follow my work to see the product of my research, I can show you my LinkedIn page. And while that comes up, we just come back to this. So I could simply type here artificial intelligence. And when we do that, let's see what that brings up. Okay. My internet is quite slow for some reason. Okay. So what that has brought for us now is profiles of potential supervisors. So we have 67 profiles. I remember what we saw here at the onset that said you should note that some supervisors or your subject area can be in different colleges. This is an example of that. So even if I've typed artificial intelligence, we have it from this person in School of Computing, from School of Computing, School of Regulation and Global Governance. But because I'm in the art, humanities, and social sciences, we'll just need to view all profiles. But I think even before viewing all profiles, there's something else I should mention that you could also see some existing project on that. So now we're looking for somebody on art and humanities, art and social science. And here we have Professor James Smithies, and now he's from the ANU College of Arts and Social Science. So I will just click on that. Meanwhile, once again, let me just take you to my page. So this is my page on on LinkedIn. I talk about my research here. So if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, here I am, Brendo A, and you can follow me on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, that aside, let's go back to the work. So this is Professor Jim Smithies, and from here we can see his biography. We can also see his research interest. Remember, his research interest has to align with yours. And here we see his fingerprints, but more than that, we will see his research output. So here you have his research output. He has 14 articles, 9 conference contributions, 6 chapters, 5 policy papers, and 20 more. you want to read the latest ones, okay? At least five. We're gonna talk about this in contacting a supervisor, but you should read at least five of their most recent work to find out if their views align with yours, if their research interests align with yours, and if you can work with them, and if you're also fit for them. So read their last five or their latest five work before contacting them. You can also see some of his projects and you should read on it. Definitely you have to read on this. And that's why I said we're already behind schedule. So please, before you contact the supervisor, make yourself familiar with his writing. And just a quick tip, although we're going to talk about this in another video, please, in contacting the supervisor, I know many people use Gen AI like ChatGPT and Copilot, but please make it personal because most people are going to use ChatGPT. So if you want your work to be separate, to be distinguished, you have to make it personal. You have to show some interest in the supervisor. You have to make him know that you've read his work. In fact, you might even talk about some things you've benefited from reading his work and how that contribution or that benefit aligns with your own research interests. That is what makes you stand apart. And this is some of the things I will be talking about in the one-to-one section we could have. Okay. So here you can then look at all of this. And if you go back again, we can see here it says registered to supervise. So Professor James is registered to supervise. And then you can contact Professor James. Here you have his email, james@smithies@anu.edu.au, and you can contact him. But remember, before you contact him, make sure you've read his work. And in contacting him, also add your research proposal and a CV. But of course, you have to also have another work that has interested you in the research area. So it's just something to keep in mind in contacting a supervisor. Okay. Now, that is just so the main bulk of it. Remember, the main bulk is finding a supervisor, and you've seen the college, you've seen the application, you've met everything. The only other thing we've not talked about, okay, you need to look at the individual colleges. For example, I opened this one from medicine. This is Doctor of Medicine. It also shows you the English language requirement, the how to apply, understand the entry requirement, excuse me, find an academic supervisor, check available scholarships, submit your application. Simple as that. You don't need a separate application. And this is for humanities, arts, humanities, and social science. There is the how-to section here on how to prepare your application. So get your research proposal. What should you include in your research proposal? There is a guide here. You find the supervisor. Now, this is what I was arguing earlier. Although, if you look at the main page, it says you need to find the supervisor before looking at the college. But I think this is not all that correctly. Because for art and humanities, here says you need to have your research proposal first before you find a supervisor that can supervise you, someone whose research interest closely aligns with yours. And then you look at the scholarship and all of those. Okay. But now the final thing to talk about is the English language requirement. So I'm not just going to bore you with many details. For the English language requirement for higher degree research program, which is everything we've been talking about, well, you need English language text. However, if you're from selected countries, you do not need the English language text. Okay. And what are the selected countries? They've been mentioned up above. So if you want more details to this, you could click on, I will leave a link to this path, but mainly on level 11, number 11. Yes, this is it, 15. So it says if you are from any of these countries, if you're from any of these countries, you do not need an English language test to prove your proficiency, as long as you've also been taught in English. But you can also attach a document, a medium of instruction letter to show that you were taught mainly in English. So here we have Nigeria, we have Ghana, we have Jamaica, we have Kenya, we have United Kingdom, South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe. So if you're from these countries in the list, then you qualify. If you are not from any of those countries in the list, but from selected countries, if you finish your secondary school or tertiary education from any of this country, for example, in India, we have a particular one for it. So you can look at this process and see which one qualifies. So there you have it, friends. Once again, that is a beautiful scholarship, and I really want you to secure the scholarship. It is a good one. It's an amazing one, isn't it? It is fascinating. It is so good. It is the best scholarship in 2025 that I've seen in all my 18 videos on scholarship. Please apply to the scholarship. Like I said earlier, if you're interested in getting the checklist contains week by week, starting from this week, a week by week guide, a week by week checklist of everything you need to do before the application deadline, giving you time to submit. So please, if you're interested in the checklist, let me know in the comment section that you're interested in the checklist and I'll send it to you. But more than that, there's also a description in the video, and you could just simply click on it and it just gets you to this checklist immediately. And if you have a peculiar case or you're still struggling with all the process, remember, all you need to do is book a one-to-one section with me, and then let's see how we can help. And I would always want to end my video with all the best in your scholarship pursuit, and au revoir.